Hey, you guys, happy Wednesday. Hope everyone is doing well on this Wednesday afternoon. So, I wanted to keep you updated of the disappearance, the kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. And I told you when I spoke to you guys about this that something was off, something seemed off about the whole entire investigation. Well, I'm just going to show you a video of Savannah announcing a devastating update after a long search, and it's been 4 weeks, 25 days, excuse me, 24 days, okay, since her disappearance, and we still don't have any information about it. But take a listen to Savannah announcement, and it's very devastating. So take a listen.
I'm coming on to say it is day 24 since our mom was taken in the dark of night from her bed. And every hour and minute and second and every long night has been agony since then of worrying about her and fearing for her and aching for her. And most of all, just missing her, just missing her. We know that millions of you have been praying. So many people have been praying of every faith and no faith at all, praying for her return. And we feel those prayers. Please keep praying without ceasing. We still believe. We still believe in a miracle. We still believe that she can come home. Hope against hope. As my sister says, we are blowing on the embers of hope. We also know that she may be lost. She may already be gone. She may have already gone home to the Lord that she loves and is dancing in heaven with her mom and her dad and with her beloved brother Pierce and with our daddy. And if this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. So please, if you hear this message, if you've been waiting and you haven't been sure, let this be your sign to please come forward, tell what you know, and help us bring our beloved mom home so that we can either celebrate a glorious, miraculous homecoming or celebrate the beautiful, brave, and courageous and noble life that she has lived. Please be the light in the dark. Thank you.
Okay, heartbreaking. Okay, I mentioned to you guys from the beginning, everything seemed very, very weird, very off from the whole investigation. Nothing added up to me. Now, it may add it up to the investigation, the investigator that has been investigating this, but nothing didn't add up. They found DNA inside the home mixed with samples from more than one person. They also, and the thing is too, someone was, someone saw her. Someone saw Nancy. Someone was the last person to see her. Okay. Also, someone from her friends know something. Okay. I just want to say this. I watch too many Datelines. Okay. I'm a Dateline fanatic. Okay. Even though the family's been clear, but someone in the family must know something. Okay. You can't tell me they don't know anything. Or a friend. Somebody took her from her home and someone knows something. Okay. No traces of her. No evidence of the sort. Nothing. It's off. And I even told you, whoever took Nancy, okay, they took her in the middle of the night. They had a car waiting. She was no longer in Tucson, Arizona. I just knew that. She was no longer in Arizona. And people were searching. She was not there. She went across the border. That's just my gut feeling. Okay, she was no longer in Tucson, Arizona. They took her across the border. And my thing is, if the investigator knew that, why didn't I search for the border? Why wait weeks later? You know what I mean? Again, something doesn't add up at all. And the ransom letter, I can just tell you, it's fake and gay, fake and gay. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to ask 9 unanswered questions that I have that I'm going to share with you guys and read, because all this investigation don't make any sense. The ransom letter, I'm telling you, is fake and gay. They didn't show any proof of life. Let me just explain this, okay? If someone took an 84-year-old woman, right, whose daughter is a high-profile sort celebrity, okay, because she's on the daily, what you call it, I can't forget, I forgot the name, but you get what I'm saying is, you would think, why reach out to TMZ? If you kidnap someone, right, and you want to be, what's the word? You don't want to be, want it to be known. You don't want the public to know that you kidnapped someone. Why reach out to TMZ? Why not reach out to the family first, immediately, for the ransom? If you're trying to be discreet about it, why reach out to TMZ? You would think you would reach out to the family and say, listen, we took your mother, we want this X amount of money. So you wouldn't be exposed. So you won't be, what's the word? The attention that everything won't be on you. You try to keep it secret. You try to keep it on a DL, if you know what I mean? And you wouldn't get the public, not the public, the media, the news, the police involved in this. You get what I'm saying? So that's why the ransom didn't make any sense to me. But this, again, I have a few questions, okay? Now, a masked man, black glove, unmarked van, unverified, ransom notes are among the glowing list unsolved mystery. So this is my first question, okay? But you know what? I want to do this. We have to go back, okay? So I'm going to break it down to you guys so you can get better understanding of it, because some people did not know about this whole disappearance of Nancy and everything. So I'm going to bring you up to speed of this, okay? So Nancy, she's in the NBC Today show. Co-anchor Savannah Guthrie was last seen by her family on January 31st. Police believe the 84-year-old woman was kidnapped from her home outside Tucson, Arizona, in the middle of the night. Her family reported her missing after a friend said that she had not show up for church the next day. Now, my first question is, where is she? Where is she? They searching. You have volunteers. Where is she? I know that the sheriff who's investigating the disappearance, he can't say much. But where is she? If she's not in Tucson, Arizona, is she across the border? Is she in Mexico? That's what I believe. Or is she buried somewhere in the desert? Okay, so that's my thing is, and it's saying that it's not a definite clear how far Nancy was taken from her home. We asked how far he had expanded the physical area for the search. Chief Chris Nelson from County, Arizona, told reporters nothing's off the table. Now, he's in charge of the whole investigation and everything. Then a video message posted on Instagram on February 9th that Savannah urged the public, no matter where you are, even if you are far from Tucson, if you see anything, if you heard anything, if anything at the same seem strange to you, report it to law enforcement. Okay, second question, what is the motive? What is the motive of kidnapping Nancy in the middle of the night? What is the motive? Savannah has co-anchored Today since July of 2012, becoming one of the most recognizable faces in morning television in America. She has largely avoided controversy and has earned a reputation as a likable professional journalist. Yes, that is true, until I told you guys that she interviewed Virginia Guthrie along with the survivors of Epstein. And that was big and that was huge. She gave Virginia a huge platform for Virginia to tell her story among the survivors of Epstein, abusers, to tell their story. Okay. Now, the kidnappers could have been motivated by financial gain. The FBI said that it was reviewing alleged ransom notes sent to news stations on February 3rd, which gave two deadlines for payments. The first note demanded the family paid a sum of money by 5 p.m. on February 5th. The second demand, family paid $6 million by 5 p.m. on Monday. The notes said Nancy's life was at risk if the deadline was not met. Now, when they said this, okay, they didn't show proof of life. They didn't contact the family, none of that. They just send this bogus, fake and gay ransom, okay, which that's just, to me, very off and very weird, okay? If you are a kidnapper, let's say I'm a criminal, okay, and I kidnap somebody, you think I'm gonna reach out to TMZ? You think I'm gonna reach out to any reporters? My first inkling is to reach out to the family and say, listen, we took your mother, okay? If you even contact the police or anyone, she's dead, okay? And then I will show some type of proof of life so they know that I'm serious, okay? They didn't even do that, whoever took Nancy, okay? They just reach out to TMZ, send a ransom letter and stuff like that. It's just stupid. That's not a real criminal mind. Again, I watch Dateline. I watch crime shows. Again, I know it's real life, but I'm just saying, if I was a criminal, I don't think I would reach out to a news outlet, let alone TMZ, which I do not like TMZ. I'm just saying though, I would reach out immediately to the family and let the family know, listen, we took your mother, she is okay, and if you report it to the police or anyone, she's dead. And then the family will say, well, we need to know, we need to see some proof of life that our mother is alive. Then I would show a picture. Here's a picture, she's alive, she's okay. But you have a deadline. If you don't reach this money by this time, she's gone. But they didn't do that. So that's what I'm saying. It's just very odd and weird of this whole kidnapping thing. That's what I'm saying. Something is off about the whole thing. Okay, moving on. Number 3 question. Who is the mass intruder? Video released on February 10th showed an individual walking up to Nancy's front porch. The video capture on a ringing doorbell camera showed a person approaching her doorstep, slumber over and wearing a backpack, gloves, and carrying a gun. Another video shows individuals trying to block the doorbell camera with a glove before walking towards the front garden to grab some branches and returning and placing it in front of the camera. Now, again, I'm just bringing you guys up to speed if you guys are not aware of the whole situation. These are timelines. Then the FBI also posted still images of an individual, including one that seems to show the torch being held and torch being held in the person's mouth. According to forensic analysts, the individual is a male, about 5 feet 10 inch tall. He was pictured sporting a 25 black biker backpack, which it was sold at Walmart. The person in the image has not yet to be identified. Sources revealed on February 23rd that the masked individual appeared on the front doorbell camera at least twice. Now, when they say twice, now they're saying that this man's, whoever this person is, the masked individual was there twice, meaning that he was there before the kidnapping. And they're saying, the police are saying that it's 2 different people. Other people saying it's the same person. I don't know if that's true or not, but they're saying that it was that this person appeared twice at the front of the doorbell camera, at least twice. Now, according to ABC source familiar with the investigation, said that the man visited the home a day before Nancy's abduction on February 1st. As shown in the still image released by the FBI, which the backpack is non-visible. Okay? Now, as the sheriff department waits for the analyst and partial DNA found at her home, investigators also trying to identify the suspect's trousers, shoes, and jacket. Chris told NBC News, and that's Chris, the sheriff, who's in charge of the investigation, which I have to say, by the way, he seems, and this is no disrespect, and I'm not trying to assault anyone, he seems like he's slow. He seems like he is not up to speed. He seems like he don't know what he's saying or doing. And again, they need to have someone else who's going to take charge. I don't feel like he's taking charge. That's just my opinion as a person who's looking outside in. Again, I have no skin in the game of the investigation. I've been praying for Nancy to come home safely and be with her family and her grandchildren. I've been praying for that since the day that she got abducted on January 31st. I just want to make that very clear. But it seemed like this sheriff, he seemed like he don't know what he's doing or what he's saying. And someone needs to take over. If that was my mom and you saying all this to the press, you're fired. I need to find someone else who's going to bring up to speed and make do some hardcore investigation, because this is going slow. This is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. You can't find this woman. You have all the money, all the resources. You have the FBI. You have the sheriff department. You can't find an 84-year-old woman. What the hell is wrong? What's going on here? And this is the United States. It's not like it's in a foreign country. I don't understand what's going on here. Anyway, let me continue on. I'm getting so hyped up. February 20th, they also asked in gun stores about the firearm and holster seen in the video. Question number 4. Are there any suspects? Again, no suspects, no leads, no nothing. It's like a freaking mystery. And I just feel like this is going to be a cold case. A cold case. No body, no nothing. No communication of the kidnappers. We don't have nothing. It's like crickets. It's just going to be like basically what happened last year with that young college student who disappeared in a DR. I say PR like Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic. It just feels like that. You know what I mean? It feels like a mystery of disappearance, and we will never know if this woman's alive or dead. An 84-year-old woman. It's just crazy. Now, the sheriff said that he has spoken to gardeners, a poll worker, and the Uber driver who drove Nancy to her daughter's Annie's house on January 31st. Listen to this, where she had dinner, played games, and everybody still is a suspect in our eyes, he added. Now, that was before that. So, an Uber driver drove Nancy to her daughter's house, Annie. Play games, they ate, whatever. Now, according to the sheriff, Annie and her husband drove her mother back to her home. So they were the last person to see her, even though they were clear as not the suspect, but they were the last person to drive Nancy home, okay? Then it continues to say on February 10th, an individual was detained during a traffic stop south of Tucson and was taken for questioning in connection with the case. The sheriff department said the man who was detained identified himself as the New York Times as Carlos, 36. He said that he was released after several hours that he had been detained in Rio Rico, about 15 miles north of U.S.-Mexico border. Okay. Next question that I have before this. So on February 16, Sheriff Chris announced that all the members of the Guthrie, family, including the siblings, the spouses, have been cleared as a possible suspect. Okay, great. Just like I said in my last video, that's great. But again, you should keep your eyes on everyone and ask questions, and because everyone's a suspect. Even though the family is clear, someone must know something. I'm sorry, someone has to know something. Okay, you could try to tell me no one doesn't know anything. There's no cameras around the house, even though they're reviewing the cameras and stuff like that. Somebody knows something. Okay, that's just a given. Okay. Question number 5. Could a black glove provide a clue? Last week, the FBI agent discovered a black glove near Nancy's home, which appeared to match the pair worn by the person caught on the doorbell camera, although investigators had obtained a DNA sample from it. See, that's a big mistake. Why would they say that? You get what I'm saying? Now, whoever took Nancy is probably freaking out. Oh, shit. Did I cut myself? They may have my DNA in her house. That's something that you should have just, the sheriff should have stayed silent and not say anything, okay? Because you don't want to spook whoever took Nancy, okay? Because they freaking out and saying, oh, crap, I made her cut myself because they saw blood in front of her house, in front of her door, okay? Blood splatter. So the kidnapper is thinking, did I cut myself? Did something happen? And then now they're freaking out thinking that they are going after them because now they have DNA and they might got rid of her. That, I'm not a detective. I'm not none of that, but at least I have common sense not to say it in public. You know what I mean? Not to broadcast it and reported it to news outlets. You know what I mean? Like that, you should have just kept silent and not said anything. That's the sheriff's mistake because that's just a critical thing when you don't know, when we don't know, excuse me, who took her, and it's a possibility that that person who took her probably freaked out, is panicking, and said, "Oh shoot, they might run my DNA in a data computer data match or whatever. They probably imagine we have to get rid of her. We have to get rid of her." Freaking out and panicking. That was the big mistake that they made, in my opinion. It also said samples from it. They had not been able to find any matches. Excuse me. Question number 6: are the ransom notes legitimate? And I say no, it's not legitimate because it's just crazy. So far, 4 ransom notes have been made public, although authorities have not said whether they believe them to be incredible. They're not incredible. The ransom is bullshit. Just like I told you, if someone really kidnapped her, which I believe they did, they would not reach out to TMZ. They would keep it on the DL and reach out to the family members because, especially, let me just break it down, okay? She's an 84-year-old woman, okay, who needs medication daily. You think any kidnapper want to take care of an elderly woman, okay, who needs medication? When you kidnap someone, they want something quick. They want their money and they want to go, okay? They don't want to be a babysitter. So that's why that ransom shit don't make no sense to me, okay? If I kidnap someone, okay, and I'm trying to get my money, I'm trying to get my money quick so I can dump the body alive somewhere and then leave, flee, disappear, go across the border so no one won't find me. I don't want to be a babysitter and take care of an 84-year-old woman who needs medication, who needs all that stuff. If I was a criminal, I'm just saying, I'm just trying to be in the mind of a criminal. And if I was a criminal and if I did kidnap someone, that's what I would do. I wouldn't play games. I would let them know I mean business. I have your mother. She is alive. I showed you proof of life. Give me that $1 million or how much reward that they're offering. Give me the money. And then once you meet me at that pinpoint location with no police, no anything, and if I suspect anything, she's dead. That would just be me as a criminal. Anyway, keep getting my text messages. Anyway, that would just be me. But that's what I'm saying. The ransom doesn't seem legit. It just seems very fake and gay, in my honest opinion. Okay. And I don't know why they were playing games. Question number 7. Why is the Apple Watch important? Nancy known to wear an Apple Watch and was pictured wearing it in the photo with Savannah. Police source told Fox News that her pacemaker had lost connection with the watch, which has been left in the charger. The watch could provide some clues to what happened earlier in that night because it tracks her heart rate, steps, and other physical activities. The authorities have said that Nancy returned home from her relative's house, which is her daughter, Annie, and her husband, her son-in-law, excuse me, pardon me, house at about 9:50 p.m. on January 31st. Hours later, at 1:50 a.m., her doorbell camera disconnected. That's when the criminals, the kidnappers, arrive at her home. Software indicated that about 2:10 a.m., a person was detected. 15 minutes later, her pacemaker app disconnected from her phone. Yeah, that's mean there was a struggle. They started Nancy. They woke her up out of her sleep, and there was probably a struggle. That's when they found blood in front of her door, blood splatter, and something happened that morning. Okay, that night towards into the morning, and that's when her watch was disconnected. Question number 8. Is the mystery white van connected to the case? Now, I haven't heard about this white mystery van until now. They probably did spoke about it again. I was not trying to cover this abduction too much because everything from the beginning seemed very off to me until I talked about it last week. So Nancy neighbors reported seeing an unmarked van on their street in the days before she vanished. It was somewhere on that street. It was a white van, full size, with no printing on the sides. It was parked on the street. Who lives across from Nancy told New York Post, normally people that are coming to work on your home will have a company vehicle. That is true. Or they will have an independent, something written on it. That is true. So basically that van was unmarked. It was white. There was nothing printed like a commercial van or a commercial business. So basically that van was taken out to kidnap, to abduct Nancy, put her in there and drive across the desert somewhere and go across the border. Last question. Question number 9. Is she still alive? I'm going to be quite honest with you. Even though I've been praying for her safety to come home, I do not believe Nancy is alive. I really don't. And I hate to say that. I've been, praying on hope, praying that God will bring her home unharmed. But it's been 24 days, you guys. It's been 24 days, 4 weeks, and we still have nothing. The sheriff don't have anything. Is the FBI even working on this investigation? I don't know. Which I'm going to show you a video of Dan Bongini. And I know I made it very clear that I can't stand the man because of what's going on with the Epstein file. But he has expertise because he used to be the FBI. Okay, he works. That was his specialty. So it was very important to put my feelings on the side, okay, and let you listen to his expertise about the whole investigation of Nancy disappearance. Before I do that, I just want to finish with this. So yes, I don't believe that Nancy is still alive. I believe that she is dead in Mexico, or they buried her in a desert somewhere. Now, the ransom notes have not proven any proof of life. That is true. In a video message, Nancy's family pleaded with her alleged captors to show proof that their mother was still alive. Nancy takes daily medication for her high blood pressure. Without access to her medication, that is itself provide fatal. Chris Warren, however, said on February 5th, right now we believe that Nancy is still out there and we want her home. That was afterwards, but I don't mean to be a bearer of bad news or be negative, but I don't believe Nancy's coming home. I really don't, honestly. It's Wednesday, going into Thursday. It's been 24 days. No one's not showing any proof of life, if she is alive or dead. No one. There's no any. What I'm trying to say? There's no further leads. I don't believe in this investigation. They have no suspects. They have nothing. Okay, and then and volunteers are trying to find her. I'm like, find her where? Yeah, you it's possible that she's somewhere in a desert, but she's not in Arizona. That's just my take. That's just my feeling that I'm getting. Okay, they took her across the border. Okay, she is in Mexico somewhere, dead. I'm going to say God forbid, or buried in a desert somewhere in Arizona, in Tucson. Okay, I don't believe that she's alive. Okay, and it's sad to say this, and it's sad that this is happening. Again, I just don't understand this. Like, how is it possible with all their resources, all this stuff that they have, they can't find an 84-year-old woman? They can't even figure out what the hell happened, what's going on. They can't even pinpoint anything. None of it makes sense to me. It just seems like a cold case mystery that it's never going to be solved. It's going to be unsolved until someone really do their investigation and really do their work and put the pieces together, because it seems like everything is just far-fetched off. Far-fetched off. Now take a listen to Dan Bongino and his take of the whole investigation of Nancy. Take a listen.
And this is where I think you have to kind of think outside of the box, is, especially given some of the messaging that we've seen lately, is the possibility that there may have been some kind of maybe a medical emergency or something, and maybe this was not a kidnapping. And I say that only because, and again, I'm not weighting these possibilities. We're just, when you can't find someone at a crime scene like this right away within the first couple of days, you either have really good surgical type operators, or the story you've been told or you may have believed may not be the story. I mean, think about it. What are the possibilities that there's no LPR trips, license plate readers, that Somex scrubs, social media exploitation turned up nothing, that cast analysis, cell phone analysis, that there's other tools I don't want to really talk about, but I promise they're there, we've used them in cases, that none of this stuff was tripped after, after the Bureau came in and applied all their assets. It's just, it seems really strange.
Let me quote veteran FBI Special Agent Lance Lysing of Arizona. And he said the notes to the media outlets, that part of the investigation now he believes is come and gone. And then he said, in legitimate ransom cases, kidnappers move fast. They establish leverage quickly. Communication begins within hours, not days of an abduction. Proof of life is produced early and often. This case has not followed the history of a typical kidnapping at all.
Nope.
What does that tell you?
Well, there's two conflicting points on this. One, as I told you before, with this relatively, what appears to be sterile crime scene, you would have these incredibly skilled, and I don't mean that, of course, in a qualitatively good way, but they have these criminal skill sets that they were able to not leave a trace of DNA, a footprint, a fingerprint, a tire print. Again, they didn't trip a license plate reader, managed to turn off any cell phone type of activity, and then you forget the medication. Again, this is and this is where.
Yeah. Even he says that something's off. Something's off about this whole investigation. I just want to say this before I let you go, guys. Okay. And I wrote this down. Someone dropped the ball. Okay. Someone dropped the ball in multiple areas of this whole investigation. And I'm not trying to point fingers. Someone dropped the ball. That's one. Number two, lack of planning. Okay, whoever did this, lack of planning, no body, no video, no lock of hair. Again, everything just seems so weird in this investigation. There's a lot of questions that's unmarked. Okay, it's a lot of questions that's unmarked, and this whole investigation don't make any sense to me. And I believe someone is dropping the ball in multiple areas. I think some people's egos are a little too high, and they need to put their egos on the side and try to find this 84-year-old woman, whether she's dead or alive, because this is just ridiculous at this point. 24 days, 4 weeks into this, we can't find her. You can't find her. Nothing. It's just crazy. Just only DNA. That's it. And the DNA. And partially it's Nancy's, and partially you can't they can't recognize, they can't determine who that is. It's just crazy to me. It's just crazy. That's why I have not gone full deep into this investigation, because something is off. Even Dan Bongino even said it. Something's just weird about the whole investigation. And it's sad because you have an 84-year-old woman that's suffering, okay, who needs her medication. And you have the family member that's suffering to not knowing if their mother is dead or alive. They will never know. They're always going to have a question in their mind. Whether my mother was alive or dead, did she suffer? I pray that she didn't suffer. It's just crazy. Unanswered questions, okay? Someone dropped the ball. Again, I'm not trying to point fingers, but someone dropped the ball in that area, in that multiple area, and it's just crazy to me. And I hope and pray that, God will point these people in the right directions to find her and to bring her home, dead or alive, because this is just getting a little bit ridiculous. It really is. You have an 84-year-old woman out there, and we don't even know what the connection is. It could be, Savannah. Her name is on the files, the Epstein files. She interviewed Virginia a while back, but again, why wait now to kidnap the mother? Why you couldn't kidnap the mother then? Again, none of it makes sense to me. It really does. And it doesn't make sense to a lot of people. That's why there's so many unanswered questions that needs to be answered. And someone else, in my opinion, really needs to take over the investigation and have another pair of eyes. Maybe someone missed something. Because I don't understand, the first time when she got abducted, and then you had the sheriff and investigator come back to the house the second time with dogs. Why the dog wasn't there the first time? And then you have people up in the roof. Why wasn't there the first time? That's what I'm saying. Something is just off. Anyway, you guys, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, my heart goes out to Savannah and her brother and her sisters and the entire family. I can't even imagine what they're going through each and every day, not knowing if their mother is alive or dead, not getting the answers that they need. What's the whole motivation behind this? Why my 84-year-old mother? She hasn't done anything. She's a good Christian woman who goes to church, who has grandchildren, a loving woman. I just don't understand why this is happening to our family. And she's probably feeling all those things, and rightfully so. And it's just devastating that this woman's going through all this. You know what I mean? And again, my heart breaks. I just can't even imagine if that was my mother or my father. I'd be raising hell. I'd be raising hell. If someone took my parents, I'd be raising hell. Anyway, it's not even about me. It's about them. And again, I hope and pray that they get the answers that they need, either way, good or bad, because families do need that. They need answers. They need that closure to know that their loved one is no longer here on this earth anymore. You know what I mean? They need that closure, and they're not getting it. They're not getting any closure. They're not getting any answers. They're not getting nothing. And again, my heart breaks for them. So let's continue to pray for the families, and pray for Savannah and everyone, and pray for Nancy as well. And pray for the investigator that they will have some type of answers or some type of lead to figure out what the hell happened and what is going on, because the family do need that. They respectfully do need that at the end of the day. And that's all I have to say about that. You guys, thank you so much for watching live with me. I really appreciate each and one of you. Let me know what you think of in the comments. Do you believe, and I have a question for you guys, do you believe that Nancy is still alive, or do you think that she's still dead? Drop it in the comments. Let me know. Thank you so much, you guys. Take care. God bless. Stay safe. And I will see you guys on